Hello everyone, welcome to this video about ElementsCAD for Vectorworks and the creation of SVG files for the shaper origin. I have a template here that explains the workflow and begin with an image showing the colors needed for the shaper. While the shaper doesn't require specific colors, it's a bit different in Vectorworks. If I click on the attributes in the class palette, these are the classic colors that I need, exactly the ones I have marked here to ensure a successful export. When I create my contour, I need to group it afterwards, and then through import-export, in the background, Elements will automatically create an SVG file. In this process, essentially, the first .txt file is created from Vectorworks, and this .txt file is automatically analyzed and exported as an SVG file. I'll demonstrate this with an example with different layers. Layer 2 shows a description of the workflow in different languages, and in Layer 3, we see this example. I can see from the info palette that it's a group. If I double-click, I can check that I see the correct black color here. We need to use different colors if we want to work inside or outside the contour. Here we have gray, and I need the gray from the classic Vectorworks colors. Accordingly, I'm checking the blue elements. Here we have one blue, another blue, and also the contour in blue. Now that we have checked everything, we'll use this gray color. As I mentioned before, another gray might work as well, but it's not reliable and has not been tested. Therefore, we strongly recommend using these highlighted colors from the classic palette. Also, the anchor is supported here. Here, we have red, another red, and I exit the group. I go to ElementsCAD, Import Export, Export CAM. Here, I find the option stating that this export is based on contours, polylines, extrusions, and so on, not on parametric cabinet items. I click OK. It generates a .txt file and saves it. Now, it's possible that the export file cannot be found. If we change the path, meaning it wasn't automatically created because the path was modified, for example, for elements, it's not a big problem because we can do it manually. Now I open the text file and delete the folder to see what happens. I open it and see that a folder has been created now. This folder contains all the files that we set up in the settings of ElementsCAD. Here, apart from the SVG files, we can create various other formats. We can support almost any machine. We have a list here and the post processors, so we can most likely support your machine. I'll now open an SVG online viewer to check this file. I see the SVG file and also the contour. Then I go back to Vectorworks to create another file. I want to show some tests on a few test objects. I open the file and go here to copy this. This is not in the palette, so Ctrl+G to group it, and now the group appears in the info palette. I go back to Import Export CAM and then export it again as test02. Save it again, and go to ElementsCAD. I open it, and as mentioned before, this process usually runs directly, and we can see that all the parts have been generated. And then I can go to the editor and the viewer, go to test02, and see the result here. Another test or task is to export texts. I create a new layer, a design layer, and make sure that I have a scale of 1:1. I create a text field and type shaper. I'll set the size to 96 pixels here, and now I'll use an ElementsCAD command that can convert texts to polylines. Because I see that it's not available in the workplace. So, I'll quickly do that, go to the workplace, and edit the workplace. Another option would be to switch the workplace. We have some options here to choose from. We can select the workspace. And here, we have the workspace with the basics. Here is the command text to Polyline. And we can already see that the text has been converted, and we get the necessary colors. We just need to make sure that the pen already has the color we need for our purpose. I'm using black here, and I'll also check the fill. I'll go back to the fill once more and check it, but I think it's correct. Now, I go to Import Export CAM and export it as, for example, test03. Now we have it correctly here. In the video description, you'll find the links to download ElementsCAD. If you liked the video, we would appreciate a comment and a like. Thank you for taking the time and see you soon.